June 6, 1944 was the day the Allies landed on the coast of France in Operation Neptune and established a foothold in Europe. However, an earlier attempt on the coast of France was undertaken 2 years prior in 1942. The Dieppe raid, also known as Operation Jubilee, was carried out to disastrous effects in August of 1942 near Dieppe, France. 6,000 Allied troops from Canada and Britain, along with 50 US Army Rangers, were involved in the assault, and within 5 hours the Allies were forced to call a total retreat from the beachhead. A third, rather obscure installment in Hitler's vengeance weapon arsenal, the V3 was invented in 1942 to bombard London from northern France. Operating on the multi-charge principle, smaller, secondary blasts act as a propellant for the projectile traveling up the main 160-foot pipe, lobbing the 300-pound shell at speeds of over 900 meters a second, at distances of well over 30 miles. Allied bombing destroyed these cannons before they were fully operational. However, for a small period in the war, some V3 cannons were built and used to shell Luxembourg when it was liberated by the Allies in 1944. In May of 1945, German and American forces fought alongside one another to defend Itter Castle in Austria from the attacking 17th Waffen-SS Unit. Led by Lieutenant John C. Lee, US forces of the 23rd Tank Battalion and defected Wehrmacht soldiers fought alongside one another and held out against the castle against 150 Waffen-SS troops. Raging for more than 5 hours and ending with the arrival of an American infantry regiment, it has long been regarded as one of the strangest battles of the war. In his last will and testament, Hitler named Karl Dönitz as his successor of the Reich's President of Germany and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. Dönitz, a Grand Admiral in Germany's Navy, was a U-boat commander during the war and was the leader of the Third Reich for less than a month before he was arrested and put on trial at Nuremberg. Both Göring, head of the Luftwaffe, and Heinrich Himmler, head of the SS, pressured Hitler to overturn leadership to them in his final days, a factor which led Hitler to kick both out of the party and turn leadership of the Reich to Dönitz. The Bellamy Salute, named after Francis Bellamy, who wrote the United States' Pledge of Allegiance, was used to salute the flag in the United States until December of 1942. When the flag code was amended by Congress, it was changed to a hand placed over the heart. I wonder why they changed it. After months of begging her father to let his heir pitch in, Elizabeth joined the Women's Auxiliary Territorial Service during the Second World War. Known as 2nd Subaltern Elizabeth Windsor, she donned a pair of coveralls and trained in London as a mechanic and military truck driver. The Queen remains the only female member of the royal family to have entered the armed forces and is the only living head of state who served in World War II. God save the Queen. Designed and built by Porsche in 1943, the Panzer VIII Maus weighed 36 times that of the Panzer I and was a German supertank of the Second World War. That is, when it had fuel. Weighing 188 tons and burning a gallon of diesel every 100 meters, the Maus was so large that a snorkel system had to be created for it to travel underwater, and it remains the largest tank ever constructed to this day. On the morning of August 9, 1945, a B-29 bomber by the name of Boxcar left the island of Tinian intending to drop an atomic bomb on the city of Kokura, Japan, the location of one of the largest arsenals still standing on the mainland. On arriving at the target, the plane found it obscured by clouds. After 3 bombing runs and no visual, the B-29 turned south and went to its secondary target, Nagasaki. Ted Roosevelt, son of President Teddy Roosevelt, was a US general during the Second World War. Stricken with arthritis and forced to use a cane, Ted volunteered to be among his men on the landings at Utah Beach on D-Day. At 56 years old, he was the oldest participant in the landings and was the only general on D-Day to land by sea in the first wave of troops. He died 1 month later of a heart attack in France. En route to Japan from Germany, the U-boat U-234 carried in its cargo 560 kilograms of uranium oxide, an an element of which is used in the production of nuclear weaponry as it can sustain a fission chain reaction. Spotted by US naval ships, U-234 was struck with multiple depth charges until surfacing, surrendering all 12 of her crew. Within 3 months of the submarine's surrender on the 14th of May 1945, the Manhattan Project enriched the submarine's 560 kilograms of uranium oxide, yielding 7.7 pounds of bomb-grade enriched uranium-235 for the Little Boy uranium fission weapon, which was dropped on Hiroshima on the 6th of August 1945, essentially expediting the demise of Germany's greatest wartime ally, Japan. Thanks for watching.